2nd of November, 3:38 p.m. Sholmes' suite. Hey guys, Lex here, back for some more of The Great Ace Attorney. Last time we found out the gossip lip guy was actually that one lady's missing husband, and I thought we were going to continue the trial, but it looks like we're going to investigate again. Okay, let's go. I still can't quite believe what just happened.
I know, I inquired with the bailiff after the court session was adjourned. It seems Mr. Vigil was taken to the hospital to go recover.
Right. Well, that music. 10 years ago now, Mr. Vigil attempted to commit suicide by jumping out of the window of the prison governor's office. But ever since then, he's completely blocked the memory of those events from his mind. Nobody knew his secret. Not his family, not even the man himself. But I forced it out into the open. Was it wrong of me to do that? Did I overstep the mark, I wonder?
You know.
Oh, Iris.
You were miles away. Anyway, I brewed a fresh pot of soothing tea for you.
Oh, thank you.
You and Susie have had an exhausting day so far, haven't you? Oh, thank you, Iris. How thoughtful of you.
Do you happen to know where Mr. Sholmes is? When we came out of the courtroom back in the defendant's antechamber, he disappeared.
Oh no, I don't know. He just suddenly sprang to his feet and left. All he said was, I must leave. I wonder if he's pursuing the mystery of Inspector Rixon's death. Well, you know what Hurley's always saying, don't you? There are mysteries in this world that should perhaps never be solved.
Huh.
For the construction of a solution comes only at the expense of the destruction of something else.
What does that mean?
He knows very well that when you open someone else's old wounds, you often open your own too. But he just can't take his own advice and leave it well alone. Solving mysteries is too important to him.
That's so true.
But that's what I like about her, after all.
Suppose that's a lot of a great detective in some ways.
So then, let's have tea, and I'll give you a hand.
Oh, do you have time, Iris?
Yes, I finished this month's manuscript at last, with barely a day to spare before the deadline.
Oh no, I can't do her voice right now.
Oh, I'm so looking forward to it. A brand new story to read in the adventures of Sherlock Sholmes. No, I must hide Hurley's violin in the days before I have a deadline.
You do? Poor Mr. Sholmes.
I'm sure that's very wise, Iris. How sensible of you. Oh, now then, my dear fellows, let's make a plan of action before we continue our investigation.
Okay.
So how did it go in court this morning?
Well, we still don't know the truth about what really happened, but one thing's increasingly clear. Lord Van Zieks definitely didn't do it.
Oh, goody! Yes, that's right. I managed to uncover several new facts as well. Oh, really?
And there was another development too. Kazuma.
Yes, it's quite clear now that Kasusawa is not himself. The way he's acting, it's almost as if he's possessed or got hit in the head or something.
I know, I mean, at the end of the proceedings earlier, it was like a bloodhound the way he was chasing down Mr. Vigil's forgotten past. Not normally so mercilessly persistent. What's going on in his head, I wonder? You really need to sit down with Kazuma and try to understand what he's going through. Gregson was really murdered the day before his body was discovered, then Lord Van Zieks has to be innocent, you see.
What? The day before? Well, that should be easy enough to work out just by examining the corpse, surely. Yes, you would expect so, but curiously, no time of death was included in the autopsy report. That is curious.
There are still unanswered questions about Lord Van Zieks, though, aren't there?
Ah, do you mean?
I mean what he's doing here on Fresno Street the day in the first place?
Well, according to the man's testimony, he said he was investigating Inspector Gregson, didn't he?
And it turns out that little room was actually the inspector's secret office.
Oh, that sounds like it has all the makings of a wonderfully devilish plot.
But then why was that notice board in there covered in all those particular papers? Papers about cases with a link to the Reaper. I'm starting to get a bad feeling about all this.
Oh dear, that sounds more like something horribly devilish. I must start by looking into Inspector Gregson's movements of late.
Never imagined I might have to be investigating an inspector's movements.
Well, according to the entry in his diary, he was carrying out an incognito investigation of the red-headed lady the day before his death. Oh, you mean he was doing the same thing as Hurley?
Well, Mr. Sholmes was trying to apply, whereas the inspector was supposed to be investigating.
I do wish it had been the other way around.
Anyway, as it turns out, the inspector who went to investigate the red-headed lady that day wasn't actually Gregson at all. It was Mr. Vigil, in possession of Gregson's identification.
You know what that sounds like to me? Establishing an alibi. Oh my, yes, you're absolutely right, Iris.
But why would Gregson need an alibi?
It appeared that the inspector had something to do that he wished to keep secret. I don't believe it. I always thought he was just a harmless lover of fish and chips.
But perhaps they were seasoned with something a little more potent than salt and vinegar.
I think perhaps we should try to move away from food analogies.
Well, anyway, if Lord Van Zieks felt the need to investigate Gregson...
Yes, I agree. We must try to find out what he knows. Rachel, you say? Isn't that the name of the lady who came to visit Hurley yesterday? That's right. To ask Mr. Sholmes if he would help her to find her missing husband.
Only Mr. Sholmes completely passed the buck to us. Actually, didn't you say Mr. Vigil had been taken to the hospital? Do you know which one? Is it St. Synner's?
Ah, it's St. Synner's.
I'm starting to wonder if all the other hospitals in London have closed down.
But that's amazing, Renaud. You found that lady's husband already.
Well, I suppose I have, by accident.
And 10 years ago, while Mr. Vigil was the chief warder at the prison, he was responsible for overseeing the professor's incarceration. No!
So when the convict escaped, he was held responsible and immediately dismissed.
Oh, sometimes I really don't want to grow up.
There's more. For 10 years after that, while he was ostensibly working as a peddler, he also had another secret job. He was paid by Gregson to be his stand-in, to impersonate the inspector.
To impersonate Grixie? But why?
I have absolutely no idea.
Oh, Ginny was right. I'm starting to think all adults are up to no good now. Including you.
I haven't paid anyone to impersonate me.
That means he has ties to the professor and Inspector Gregson, though. So I do think we ought to pay a visit to Mr. Vigil, don't you?
Back to St. Synner's then.
Well, I think it's clear what we need to do, isn't it? Let's investigate, my dear fellows!
Oh no, Iris.
Oh, Iris, you're even more enthusiastic than usual today. Anyone has anything to hide? My special lesson? shooting iron will soon set them straight.
That water pistol?
Stuff full of piping hot extra special blade of mine. And I'm quite sure it'll be very effective.
I better be careful not to hide anything. Well, it feels a little strange that Mr. Sholmes is nowhere to be seen, but still, let's go and see what we can find out.
Yes!
Oh my god. I'm gonna die already. Oh. Yeah, let's just go to the hospital. 2nd of November, St. Synner's Hospital, Ward 3. Okay, no one's here. And I can even... oh. This notice caught my eye before, actually.
Suppose it's some sort of slogan for the ward. A cheerful welcome message, perhaps?
Let's see. Pay with good cheer, leave with good cheer. Well, look at that. You were spot on, Miss Sato. It's full of cheer.
I wonder how many discharged patients pay their medical bills with good cheer, though.
Once I had a very painful injection and I felt ill with a cold. I felt awful already, so why did I have to suffer this thing of an injection as well as the bill? I yelled at the doctor.
Oh dear, what terrible treatment.
These must be the patient's treatment notes. Let's see. Tendency to jump from windows. Remember to place cushion at the base of walls. There might be a story up from the ground here.
Oh dear, poor Mr. Vigil.
Can't help feeling there's a better solution to the problem than a cushion, though. Finding something you'd lost isn't always a happy experience, it turns out. Pursuing the truth can be a very dark business sometimes, can it?
Yes, I'm afraid it can.
No iris? There are all sorts of medicines in the cabinet, look. Not sure if it's safe leaving them in reach of everyone like this.
Yes, you're right. I can imagine if you were peckish, you might try some of the pills.
Well, at least there seems to be a little lock to secure the cabinet doors.
I don't imagine that would stop you if you were hungry. Worry that you'd break the lock.
Hunger doesn't turn me into a criminal, you know, Mrs. Sato. Patient treatment notes. What do these say, I wonder? Endlessly obliging. Suppose that's referring to the patient in this bed.
I'd think so, and until Mr. Vigil's a little more stable. Probably just as well that he is a kindly person in the neighboring bed.
The endlessly part is a little worrying though, isn't it? I mean, what if Mr. Vigil suddenly declared that he'd like to take a trip out of the window? Would this endlessly obliging patient simply open it for him and say, "Be my guest"?
Let's check with the doctor later.
Ah, look, a pair of crutches. Before we came to Britain, I hadn't realized they were used here as well.
I imagine they were imported into Japan from Great Britain in the first place.
Oh, so no one in all of Japan broke a leg before their arrival? Anyway, the sight of these things doesn't bring back good memories for me.
Oh dear, did you injure yourself once and need to use them?
Well, when I was little, I thought they looked fun, so I borrowed a pair to play with. But then I slipped and sprained my ankle.
You see.
They contained powerful magic, those wooden staffs. The power to heal and the power to harm.
Like a certain cheeky little boy managed to cause the harm all by himself.
There are lots of bottles in that cabinet there, aren't there? Do you think it's safe to keep them there?
If you were a patient here, I feel sure you'd take some medicine by mistake when you were half asleep.
That is a worry, but at least the cabinet has a lock, even if it's only a flimsy-looking one.
Oh, I've no doubt you'd manage to unlock that somehow while you were half asleep as well.
There are limits even to what I could do when I'm half asleep, you know, Mrs. Sato. I think I've read that. Oh well. Can't read this. Guess we gotta come back later. Go back to Fresno. 2nd of November, room on Fresno Street. There are details of cases stretching back over 10 years on this notice board. Yes, a history of Lord Van Zeek's defeats in court.
I don't think that's an appropriate description. Although, you consider everything on the board, it's certainly true. And all these people had been background of dubious dealings.
And in the end, of course, the board itself concealed the inspector's own death.
Oh my, it really does bear thinking about.
Photograph of Mrs. Vigil.
Realizing the identity of this lady was a very great clue to exposing Mr. Gossip's true identity. He obviously loves his wife dearly, which is why he felt he couldn't tell her the truth.
The transformation was incredible, wasn't it? Just from the big twisted lip.
Yes, he went extraordinary efforts to play the part of Hugh Boone convincingly.
Although it didn't really seem like it was much of an effort to me.
Now you say it, I have to agree.
It's almost as if that was Mr. Vigil's true character.
People really are hard to fathom at times.
Turns out that Gregson didn't actually die here at all. Where on earth could he have been killed?
Well, one way or another, we must find out, for the inspector's sake. No, you look awfully pale again today, Mr. Naruto.
Sorry, when I start thinking it all through, I conjure up some horrible images in my mind.
Your imagination is the culprit here, then. Well, certainly guilty.
This revolver, just who does it belong to?
Well, you know it's of the type issued to members of the police force and judiciary.
But Grigson's own gun was found on his person.
Of course, Lord Van Zeeks has admitted to losing the firearm which he was issued. There's such absent-mindedness, not dissimilar to you, Mr. Naruto.
It's hard to think the cold, hard prosecutor and I could become friends after all.
And I wish you every success.
Never have imagined this little figurine would turn out to be a watch-winding key.
Suppose it's a policeman because the pocket watch was a gift from Scotland Yard. Seems there was much more to Inspector Gregson than he ever realized. He was clearly a brilliant man.
It's the fish and chips that threw us off, just though it ruined his image.
I really don't think we should blame one of Britain's staple cuisines.
But think about it, even if it was Mr. Sholmes. How would you feel if instead of that old briar pipe that's always on his hand, Mr. Sholmes had a bag of chips?
Rather disappointed, if I'm honest.
Exactly. Catches your eyes as soon as you enter the room, doesn't it?
Such a bright color. It certainly makes an impression. Yes.
Can't possibly commit any crimes, can they? I mean, the redheaded stand out like a sore thumb.
Afraid of our jet black Japanese hair, we stand out almost as much here in London.
Huh. Suppose that's true.
Mustn't think of committing any crimes, Mr. Naruto.
How was it? Using a candle as a timer device. Very ingenious, I must say.
Yes, the culprit arranged it so the firecracker would be set off at 5 o'clock and then left.
So that a loud bang was heard at precisely the moment Lord Van Zeeks arrived, yes. If only he hadn't picked up the gun from the floor.
Something you probably told yourself once upon a time, I imagine.
Yes, I've learned that lesson by bitter experience. Would have turned and run a mile for sure.
Which may not have done you any favors either.
Okay. Where the hell am I supposed to go? Should I just start it from the top? Go to prison. Second of November, local prison, cell 1.
Lord Van Zeeks is reading a look. Doesn't seem like he wants visitors, does he?
But he must have noticed that we're here, surely. Go away. Hmm. What do you Nipners want? There's no way to greet the lawyer who's trying his hardest to prove you're innocent, isn't it? Perhaps not. Hmm? I apologize. So what can I do for you, Mr. Naruto?
Lord Van Zeeks, speaking earnestly. Oh, the fog will lift over London for the first time in months tomorrow.
This does feel very, very strange. I must say, I was impressed. Oh, well, thank you. Not by you, fellow Nipponese, your prosecutor friend. Oh, I see, yes. It's sardonic, don't you think? For a man such as me, so loathing of the Nipponese, to be entirely at the mercy of the two of you. I suppose it's retribution for having played the part of the Reaper all these years. Played the part. You once told me that you gladly allowed people to believe you were the Reaper, because it helped reduce the amount of serious crime that took place in London. If keeping quiet and playing the part benefits the cause, a cause I myself am committed to pursuing, then why would I choose to say anything? The henchmen of a criminal killed by the Reaper attacked you only the other day. That was just the most recent of many attempts on your life, wasn't it? Someone is clearly profiting from your silence about all this. Someone is using you. Believe me, ever since the Reaper first appeared, I've been doing my utmost to expose him. Or rather, expose the organization.
A whole organization?
It's inconceivable that all those accidents were orchestrated by one man. No, the Reaper always appears to have very accurate information about the accused in each case, which can only mean that somebody at Scotland Yard is involved.
Someone at you can't mean.
It's taken me many years, but I finally identified the central figure in this Reaper organization. Tobias Gregson.
No!
Gregson, the Reaper? I knew it. So, the reason you were investigating Inspector Gregson is because you intended to expose him as the Reaper? As I said, the Reaper of the Bailey is no single person. It's a highly secret organization with close ties to Scotland Yard. There's no doubt that Gregson was a key member of the organization.
I don't believe it. He's saying that he was behind all those awful criminals being there.
Gregson didn't do the dirty work himself.
Oh.
He was the tactician. His job was to covertly investigate the marks and plan their assassinations. In order to do that without arousing suspicion, he regularly needed a firm alibi. Which is where Mr. Vigil came in, posing as the inspector. Vigil knows nothing of the Reaper, but the room he rents on Fresno Street was almost certainly the headquarters of the operation. Gregson would have met the assassin there for briefings. So we don't actually know who carried out the killings then. Actually, I do have a name. You what?
Well, if you can name the man, you have the true identity of the Reaper already then.
Oh, I can name the woman. Giselle.
Oh.
She's a young woman by the name of Asa Shin. Wait,
What? Shin.
Yes, Asa Shin, the true name of a terrifying killer I know only too well. She came to Japan posing as a visiting student and murdered Dr. John H. Wilson. Then, just when it seemed that diplomatic protection would help her escape Japan and conviction, the mysterious woman was herself murdered in a small summer beach hut. That woman was actually the Reaper of the Bailey? Oh.
Mr. Naruhodo, this perhaps isn't the place to discuss.
So that's why people aren't dying. Wait, so if she's the Reaper, in all the cases that Van Zeek's lost recently, did no one else die from the Reaper? Because she's been dead since then? I don't know. No, of course not. We can't mention it here. The fact that she killed Dr. John H. Wilson. Because Iris doesn't know it, and it's very likely that man was her father.
That's a shin. I should let father know at once.
Yes, I agree. Kazuma, is it? Kazuma Sogi. You say he's a friend of yours. My best friend. He's the whole reason I got to come to Britain. It was all on his merits. I have nothing but respect for him. Yes, I understand that only the very best students are selected for such opportunities. And I had a fine demonstration of how sharp he is in the proceedings earlier today. He missed nothing. In fact, his flawless performance very much reminded me of his father, Genshin Isogi, the professor. It's true that the aristocracy at the time was the root of numerous grave societal problems. They were abusing their power, playing with the common man as pawns in politics, in economics, in war. In many ways, Isogi was carving out a canker from society that we British couldn't deal with ourselves. I see. But that's precisely why it makes no sense. Clint Van Zeeks was noble and an upstanding man. He wasn't corrupt. Why did that damn Nipponese have to go and take my brother's life? In spite of having once saved mine. He saved your life? How did that happen? It was 10 years ago, on a foggy night. What was to be the professor's final strike had sent a wave of panic through the capital. So Clint Van Zeeks had already been killed at this point then. Genshin and I were walking down some back streets at a late hour. Of course, at that point I had no idea of the true nature of the man at my side. All of a sudden... Don't make a peep, you're coming with us. Oh shit. We were surrounded. All of our assailants were armed with pistols, their faces obscured by scars. Clint was not only from noble heritage, he was a brilliant prosecutor as well. Scum of London hated the sight of him. They had no sympathy for this younger brother either. I'd been targeted several times before already. Yeah, it's Van Zeek's alright, we got him. I could hear them murmuring amongst themselves, and knew they were after me. Just when I thought my time had come. If I let them kill you, Clint would never forgive me. It was Asoki's voice, just a whisper in my ear. After that, I don't remember exactly what happened. Next I knew was silence all around. Genshin lay on the cobbled street. Blood was seeping from his left hand. He shielded me. 2 days later, they arrested him, on suspicion of being London's most notorious mass murderer ever, Professor.
How awful for you.
All at once, I lost the brother I revered, and the foreign friend I held in such high regard. So sorry, Lord Van Zeeks. That's the end of my miserable tale. Never thought I'd recount it to anyone. Well, thank you for confiding in me.
Professor, the Reaper, and Inspector Gregson. Wonder just how intimately related they all are.
still can't quite believe that Grugson was essentially the Reaper, giving assassination orders to Giselle Brett.
Mr. Naruhodo, let's go inform my father. Sure, our government will want to hear about this new information. Oh, that means I get to meet your daddy, Susie. Hooray!
Yes, alright. Let's head back to the great Waterloo Hotel then. See ya. Second of November, Great Waterloo Hotel, Foyer.
Thought it yesterday, and I think it again today. This place is so princely.
It's a wild guess, but I have a feeling you'll think the same tomorrow too.
My tea has a finer fragrance than whatever they're serving in the tea room here, though, would you say?
Ah, look who we have here. This is an unexpected pleasure.
Ah, father! Oh, is this your daddy, Susie? Lovely!
What a charming young lady. And you are? Ah, really? You're the author of The Adventures of Sherlock Sholmes, are you?
That's me, Iris Wilson, at your service, sir. Susie's been such a wonderful friend to me over the last year, you know.
Well, Miss Wilson, I must say I read your work regularly and with much interest.
Iris actually lives with Mr. Sholmes, you know, father.
Is that so? Well, perhaps that goes some way to explaining the bright look in your eyes.
Hee
You wouldn't be smiling so airily if you knew just how bright she is, believe me. Now then, young Naruhodo, it was a pleasure seeing you in action earlier. As an invitee of the symposium, I was allowed to observe from the gallery after I twisted some arms. And I must say, it was a truly exemplary performance. Oh well, thank you very much. Although I'm fairly sure you meant it by Kazuma on the other end there. No, please don't misunderstand. It was you who impressed me.
Really?
You didn't miss a step against Asogi, and we all know how capable he is. Really, to have matured into such a fine defense lawyer in less than a year is quite extraordinary. It's very kind of you to say so. Really nice to hear. Why does everyone read my mind? What I saw in court today confirmed what I'd been hoping for. The favor I mentioned yesterday, Naruhodo, I trust you haven't forgotten. Oh no, you did mention something, didn't you? I actually did.
But first, we have something to report, father.
Of course. Shall we take tea while we discuss matters further? I wonder where Judge Jacobu has got to.
Father, do you know about the so-called Reaper of the Bailey?
I've heard rumors. Some members of the judiciary explained it all to me yesterday. Of course, when I was a visiting student here in London, the Reaper was yet to emerge. Right, he didn't appear until after that case when the visiting student had already returned home. Lord Van Zieks, who was in the dock today. That was Barak, the younger brother of Clint Van Zieks, I believe.
That's right. And he's known throughout London as the Reaper, as you've heard. But the truth is, it wasn't him behind all those mysterious deaths. It was somebody else.
I see. What you're saying is, there's been a professional killer at work here. Exactly. Someone by the name of Asashin, in fact. Beg your pardon. Did you just say Asashin? You mean that Giselle Brett woman who was responsible for killing my great friend?
Oh no, a friend of yours was killed?
Professor Mikitoba, I think perhaps we shouldn't discuss this right now. Because the friend the professor is talking about is Dr. John H. Wilson. And that's not something we want Iris to find out about, not like this anyway.
Ah, I've just remembered something. Biscuits! This hotel has the most delicious looking biscuits.
That was rather out of the blue. Ah, she's doing this deliberately. Oh, yeah, let's get biscuits. Dr. John H. Wilson's definitely alive.
I think I'll go and see if I can purchase some. I wonder, would you like to come too, Iris? Oh, yes. You just tried to leave me behind.
Oh, good job. So that young girl is called Iris Wilson, is she? Yes, that's right. She's the author of all those adventure stories starring the great Detective Sholmes. But the name of the credited author isn't Iris, is it? It's Dr. John H. Wilson. Yes, I know. That's the name of her father, you see. Her father, Dr. John H. Wilson, was deeply indebted to the man for all of the kindness he showed me during my time in London. That's why I was keen to reciprocate and invite him to the Imperial UMA University 4 years ago. But he was murdered last year by Giselle Brett. Why would the hand of the Reaper stretch all the way to Japan? Iris knows nothing about that case, but it seems very likely that the victim, Dr. Wilson, was her father. Well, I can't say that we ever spoke about his family, so I don't know if he had a daughter or not. But I think I can say with some certainty that he was never the great detective's partner. So it could have been another Dr. Wilson, you think? Well, John and Wilson are both common names after all. Still, it's probably best not to mention this to the young lady until we could be sure. That's what we thought, yes.
We're back with cinnamon biscuits.
Oh, they smell delicious, Iris.
I think cinnamon will go very well with tea they serve here, don't you, Susie? Yes, I'm sure you're right, Iris.
I haven't seen Judge Jacogo for a while, have you? Guilty. But that guilty is still ringing in my ears. No, now you mention it, I haven't seen him since this morning either. I suppose since the symposium's opening was postponed, he'll have gone to explore the great exhibition.
That reminds me of something you mentioned yesterday. About Judge Jacogo having once been in the dock himself?
Ah yes, it was all tied up with that prison trial. The close trial of Kazuo's father. Seishiro was trying to mitigate Genshin's guilt, so he took to the stand to testify. But he got a little carried away and, actually managed to break the witness's stand.
Oh my.
He also said some contemptuous words about the British Empire for which he was charged. Oh dear, although it's worryingly easy to imagine him doing that. Well, it was alright in the end. He was acquitted and we returned home to Japan together.
Thank goodness.
Ah yes, talking of Seishiro. I have a copy of the photograph we all took together here yesterday. Please.
Oh, what a lovely picture.
It certainly seems to shout, "We arrived in Britain." Commemorative photograph. Is this going to be important? Let me check it out. Don't see anything that could be. Is it the badge? Or this thing? Or this star? None of us had any idea what was coming when we took that, did we?
No, that's so true.
So, you mentioned a favor that you'd like to ask me? Well, this fateful trial that you're fighting. One way or another, it will be over before long. And when it is, I'd like you to accompany me back to Japan. What? You want me to do...
What? Father, what's the meaning of this?
Now, Susato, you should understand. You've seen how our courts work firsthand. Japan's judicial system is in its infancy, especially when it comes to defense.
Oh, you mean?
The Supreme Court of Judicature is in desperate need of a good defense lawyer. As soon as possible, really quite urgently, in fact. But I've not been in London a year yet. I've read all of Susato's reports. I'm well aware of your extraordinary talents. And having seen you in action with my own eyes earlier today, there's no question. You, Naruhodo, are precisely the man our country needs. Oh.
So, you'll be leaving then, Runo? But then, what am I supposed to do, Father?
You came here to serve as Isoki's judicial assistant. Oh, yes, she's supposed to be Kazuma's assistant. Our government is still in the process of deciding how to best deal with the situation, though. You've always chosen your own path, Susato. I trust your judgment in this matter also.
Father!
Please, the pair of you, don't look so downcast. It's merely a suggestion you understand. A hope, if I'm honest, but I won't force you. All I ask is that you consider it and come to a decision by the time the trial concludes. Yes, alright.
You won't leave, will you, Runo?
Thought hadn't even crossed my mind. Up until now, I've been trying to do what I believe to Kazuma's will. But it turns out he's still alive, so... where does that leave me? Oh. I was just supposed to be here on vacation. Well, if you'll excuse me now. I need to telegram the government ministers and the Japanese police with this information about Asashin.
Of course, Father. Thank you.
I look forward to next month's installment, Miss Wilson.
Oh, good. And please, do come to Baker Street sometime, won't you? We'd love to entertain you.
I would be delighted. The best of luck for tomorrow, Naruto. And give my suggestion your full consideration, won't you? Yes, I will. Going back home? God, you gotta take a whole month to travel? God, that's gonna be pain.
You know, Kazuma-sama has always meant a great deal to my father. I'm sure he'd love the chance to meet with him and talk to him about all of this.
Yes, no doubt. Asashin. Of course, it's so obvious. How could I have neglected to consider the possibility before now? Mr. Sholmes!
Really? Where have you been?
Why, I joined you all for tea, of course. What an extraordinary question.
I didn't notice you at all.
No matter. Anyway, two more pressing concerns, Mr. Naruto. Oh, yes. I must dispatch a telegram to your country at once. It is a matter of much urgency. To Japan, you mean? Tell me, to whom can I trust the task? Quickly now, who?
Well... My father has just now left to send a telegram to Imperial Police Bureau of Japan himself.
I see. Well, will he look reliable enough for a bearded fellow?
I don't think what father sports could be considered a beard, Mr. Sholmes.
There's not a moment to lose. Kindly ask your trusty unshaven father to see this is sent.
I will, but what is it?
No questions at this time, if you please, Mrs. Sato. All I could do is pray that for once, my deduction is awry. Doesn't that imply that your deductions are normally correct, Mr. Sholmes? Which isn't exactly now that. You may be surprised to learn that I am a very busy man. I simply have no time to hide behind cities and eavesdrop on other people's conversations. That's what joining us for team in. I leave the sending of this in your hands then, my dear fellows. Wait a minute, Mr. Sholmes.
He just sort of ran off, didn't he? At quite a pace.
And left the unpaid bill for his tea behind too.
Must catch up with Father at the telegraph office at once. Now we're gonna call us a cab straight away.
There was me thinking everyone would be clamoring to pay Mr. Sholmes' bill. Let's take a look. Oh, he didn't actually give it to us. Anyway, let's continue the episode next time. See ya. Bye.